So we want to talk about what the heck is platform as a product and how product thinking in general drives, platform maturity. It's always fun to have like product talks in a more technical conference just before, live demo. Now nothing like a live demo. But it's going to be interesting nonetheless because platform engineering, huh? So yet another platform engineering talk at this time. I've already seen the AI talk having this lovely meme with the guy looking after the other woman, and then it's like platform engineering and AI. What's the better hype topic? I mean, Gartner just released the platform engineering hype cycle. So they have a hype cycle just for platform engineering. And as you can see on the absolute top of the hype cycle, there's like the typical buzzwords like internal developer platforms or internal developer portal, like basically Backstage, right, as the absolute peak of the hype right now. Whatever you take out of that, I don't know, but they even go one step further and say that in 2026, 80% of all large software organizations will have a platform team that is helping enable their internal application delivery. So quite a hype topic. And you've already heard so many platform talks, so do we still need to talk about it? In general, Kelsey does. So yeah, I mean, that's the mandatory Kelsey Hightower tweet we have to put in when on a conference with Kelsey Hightower, right? So he says here quite well, I love that sentence. It's like platform engineering is like a gym membership. Anyone can buy into it, but results require actual work. And I think that's quite true. So he also said on PlatformCon, which I also liked, just this year, he said that if you're doing custom software engineering, you build your own custom software. It doesn't matter if you're a software company or not. But if you build your own custom software, then you do platform engineering, because there's no platform whatsoever off the shelf that will cover all of your, all of your needs. Even if you just do one shell script for the delivery or, for customizing whatever cloud resources you have, that is already platform engineering. So, and that's the question. So if platform engineering is like a gym membership, then do you want to be a gym rat? That's basically, do you want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger? And that's a serious question here, because being Arnold Schwarzenegger is really freaking hard. Like, there's not a lot of Arnold Schwarzeneggers out there, because it is a lot of work, daily work, going to the gym every day for like the majority of the day, right? And then at home, making sure you only eat the right things, which is like tons of noodles, as much as I've learned. But do you even want that? If you are a gym member, you don't have to directly become Arnold Schwarzenegger. Most people would just say, I want to be fitter, I want to be healthy. And, most people would just go into a gym membership for their conscience. So there's different levels that you can have when having a gym membership. And if we put that back, as Kelsey said, I think he thought he meant it a bit different, but doesn't matter. It's a good allegory. So what's a healthy platform? It's sure, you can have your Arnold Schwarzenegger platform. I know a company who does that, but do you need it? If you just want the healthy platform, it's the question, what is a healthy platform then? What's the equivalent? So I am Dominic. Yes, as already said, I'm a product manager. I work for an observability platform, or my product is the observability platform of a bigger platform. So I really live platforms every day. And if my work day is over, I put my work PC down and take my private PC up, and then work in the Cloud Native Computing Foundation working group for platforms on some research. We're currently covering, product management within platform engineering as a topic. Thus, this talk. So I really do a lot with platforms, and that's why I want to talk about this topic with you. Generally, Giant Swarm is also doing platform engineering. If you want to know more about what Giant Swarm does, just hit me up. But today we want to talk about what's a healthy platform and how can you get there, more or less. So there's one pointer that can help us define what exactly is a healthy platform, or what is different levels of a platform. And that's one of the outputs of the Cloud Native Computing Foundation's working group on platforms, which is then called Platform Engineering Maturity Model. It's basically a landscape of different dimensions that are relevant within platform engineering, and then different maturity levels within that dimension. For example, the investment, and then you can say, it's more like, we just randomly give money to a specific, team because they have to create this shell script, and then randomly we have somehow financed our platform, or we built up a dedicated platform team, or we treat it as a product, so it never has an end date, right? It always improves, or a fully enabled ecosystem which can be multiple teams. So there's different levels on how you see or how you treat the investment within a platform and within your own platform engineering. And you could basically say that on the left side, the whole provisional part is like this level of, hey, I've seen a gym once from the inside. And the right side is more like the all day, every day Arnold Schwarzenegger thing of the just pumping iron the whole day. That also means the right side is really, really, really hard to achieve. And to be honest, I haven't seen a lot of organizations, and even less platforms that really would go check all of the boxes of the right side of the optimized. So it's really hard. It's a lot of investment to get there. So we have this map, but what do we do with it, right? The first thing that we can do is basically map where we are, just put ourselves on the map, right? If you use Google Maps to find some place, you always first look, where are you, right? Before looking, where's your target? So in that sense, you can also do that with this little document, right? You just look at the different dimensions, the different descriptions that are there. So there's a whole document with a bit more than just those names. So don't worry, you can read that also up, and just point down where are you currently. And you can be in different maturities over different levels, right? It doesn't have to be that you're all set in a specific level. It's more dynamic. And that really helps you understand what's the current maturity of your platform, really, and where do you even start with your journey. And then the second question, of course, is like with Google Maps, you know now where you are. Now you need to know where you want to go to. So you can also use this document to define for yourself or for your organization, when is your platform good enough for you. And a very important bit is the good enough. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, because then we know it's just optimized. But that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we want to be healthy and not, or just fit and not really, pumping iron the whole day. So document where your goals are. And again, it doesn't have to be the same maturity level in all dimensions, because some dimensions could be more important for you than others. And then, why invest in a dimension that's not that important for you? So document what your goals are, and then you have already this slide path with, you're here, you want to go there. There's a lot of documents coming up that will help you find the way, and some pointers. But that's the thing with this, and what already was said in the introduction. This is very context dependent on your organization. There's not like one size fits all, and we just say, hey, this is your journey. But it's ongoing research, and a lot of different organizations have a lot of different paths towards this, journey, increasing the maturity of their platform engineering. So we can't say, hey, here's the checklist, just do that, and then you're set and in this time, or in this maturity of your platform journey. So you need to be very cautious on those, snake oil sellers that just say, hey, we know all of the things you need to do. So if that's always context dependent and not that easy to find, the question is, how do we even get there? What's the best way there? And I think this might not really be the best one. I mean, you can see it's a gym. There's like a lot of different ways, but just going onto the treadmill, there's not many goals that you can achieve by walking on the same position the whole time. So that's why product management comes in. And I'm biased. You've read it. I'm a product manager, so that's why I love product stuff. But as you have also seen within the maturity model, we use the word as a product a couple of times. And we have this assumption that we are currently testing with our research, which is that successful platforms in a higher maturity level hold their product or hold their platforms as a product or manage them as a product. But what does that even mean? What is platform as a product? So in that sense, we can just start by talking about product management in general. I think it's easiest defined. There's a lot of definitions of it, and it's like platform engineering. It can be a lot for a lot of people, but I always think it's well explained with this. If we look at the product management process, so that is basically two big phases within the organization of whatever you deliver and the organization of whatever you work on, right? So in general, the second part, which is delivery, is already very successful in most organizations, especially with the agile movement in the last couple of years, right? And if not even the last 20 years, a lot of organizations already are very good at the delivery part of the delivery phase of the product management process, which is you look at your tickets, may that be Jira tickets or GitHub issues or whatever, you refine them in a refinement or a planning meeting, you look at it and improve the, answer questions, whatever. Then you work on them and then you iterate over it. You look if there's something you need to, improve afterwards and so on. So that's the typical loop, right? Weekly sprints or 2 weekly sprints, whatever, you refine tickets, then you develop them and then you do the next sprint improving them. But product management goes even one step further, and I think that's what a lot of organizations don't do that well yet, which is the exploration part. Within the product team that owns the product, you also need to enable that team to do the exploration of that product, which means they come up with a strategy for your product, they prioritize their work based on that strategy, and then they do a discovery if the solution that they think would be best to solve those issues are actually the right ones and yield the right results, right? So the product teams themselves, and with that, the product manager, are also responsible for which direction do we take our product in the future. And it's not like some boss comes around and just says, hey, I've heard this talk on ContainerDays, let's just do that. But it's really, thinking about strategy, prioritizing based on that, and then doing discovery to find out if the value is really there that you think. So that's already the important word, value, because at its core of product thinking lies value. And you always have to think about what's the next best value that your product delivers to a customer. Why should a customer use your product? Value, value, value. So in order to drive the adoption of your platform, to come back to that, you also need to show why one should use it. And let's be honest, adoption of a platform is basically the biggest KPI of the platform, because your platform will only be successful if there's a sufficient adoption of it. If nobody uses your platform, you don't have a platform, you have waste. So in that sense, product thinking really helps you drive adoption of your platform, because it shows more why, or it shifts the focus on why should somebody use it. Treating your platform as a product puts this why into the focus of your whole work and your development. All right, good. Now we got that. Basics covered, theory lesson over. But how do you even start shifting, your platform engineering into a product? Well, I always say every good product has a story. It needs a story. It is a story, if we're really honest. Every product is just some story that you tell. And every good story needs characters, right? So you need to start looking at who are the characters of your product, which is who's interacting with your product, who's the users of it, but not just the users, but also the stakeholders, because we are always focusing a bit on engineers, but there's more people that are using your product. So really go out and find all of the characters that are in your story, in your product. And, there's some product management tools that can help you identify them and help you understand them a bit, which is, for example, personas that you can see on the right, left. And jobs to be done, which is really nice to understand, not just like an arbitrary, person, but understand motivations. I don't want to go into too much detail, but jobs to be done, personas, you can read that up and use that. Also interesting part, as I already said, we tend to focus a lot on engineers. It's also called, internal developer platform, so in that sense, I think that's a bit short because the platform consumers can be diverse roles, right? If you do DevSecOps, certainly you have security involved that have an interest in that platform or are even, interacting in that platform. If you have Kubernetes policies in place and then your security is defining some Kubernetes policies, certainly they are users of your platform, right? Quality assurance, QAs, for example, potentially also, getting dev environments to test things and stuff. So there might be different roles that are interacting with your product, but you might now say, hey, we're platform engineers, we are engineers. How the heck should we know what those other people, like managers and stuff, really want from our platform, right? Another very helpful product trick, product tool out of the product toolbox is basically metrics. You all know metrics already from the operations process of Kubernetes and so on, but you can also have metrics for your product metrics, right? Here's the HEART framework, which is a really nice framework from Google, I think, that also has different dimensions of relevant things that your product, success drives, which is like happiness, engagement, and so on. And then you look at the goals that you want to achieve with that, look at signals that can show you if those goals are met, and then create metrics, which is basically how you can measure if those signals are achieved or not. And if you do that for a couple of different, dimensions here, then you will know a lot about how your users are interacting with your product, and especially if the assumptions on, user X is using my product like that are actually matching. So there's always a lot of metrics that will help you understand your diverse roles of customers and consumers that are interacting with your platform. So we have our heroes, we have all of our characters, but we also know that all of our characters need a character journey, or we have some weird one of the new Disney movies, which is just, not really stories, but we need a journey. We need, some character growth. So another thing that's pretty typical in product management that can help you there is visualization. There's a user story mapping, which is a very classic tool of product management. And I did something that I call product journey value map, which really is just a visualization of a whole platform journey or a journey of a platform capability. So you don't have to always map the whole journey, because especially with more complex platforms, that can be quite big, but you can just take, episodes, 7 and just say, yeah, we just start at this little part here. How can this look? The product journey value map that I usually use for my products is just something easy like that. You have a product lifecycle, which is a bigger phase of your product lifecycle, right? Then there's customer activities. The important part is the customer part. So it's activities from the perspective of your heroes, of your customers, right? How can they interact with your product in a specific lifecycle phase? And then diverse user perspectives, because you have multiple heroes, multiple roles potentially, maybe not always. Maybe you want to focus on one first. But if you already want to address multiple ones, that will help you, because not every customer has the same motivation to do an activity, right? There can be multiple interaction modes from multiple people. And then again, metrics, always measure metrics for success. So you can also directly map metrics and then derive opportunities out of that. Opportunities is really just a value opportunity. It's like, this is where some value lies. So you could do that and then, deliver some value. This can look like this, just with a runtime capability, Kubernetes in that sense. So you have a creation phase, and then you create clusters as an interaction. You create deployments. You have an operation phase, and then it's just operating, right, running your workload, and the transparency part, and so on. So different life cycles, different interactions of customers within those life cycles, and then even different perspectives on that. Like in this example, we have, for example, platform devs, app devs, and management. Let's look at the transparency part. Platform devs are responsible for clusters. So the transparency part they are interested in is the transparency of clusters, while app devs don't care that much about clusters. It's more that they want transparency of their workloads. And then management wants transparency of costs, because that's what management cares about at the end, right? So that already gives you a hint on what's relevant for your platform, what's value you have more or less to deliver to address those different user needs. Then you can put up metrics, like in our transparency case, we can say the number of dashboard views, because we have dashboards for this transparency. And then you can derive automatically some value opportunities out of that. For example, we have a cost dashboard, but like nobody's looking at that. There's no number of dashboard views on that cost dashboard. That already gives you some hints. Maybe that is not the value that we expected, so we need to improve that cost dashboard. Or on the other side, we see, hey, there are like 1,000 clicks on the operations dashboard, which is weird, because then somebody's clicking 1,000 times on this dashboard. Maybe we should create alerting or something to proactively, not make them watch a dashboard the whole day. So this is already a very easy example on how you can visualize the customer interaction, the customer journey throughout your platform or throughout parts of your platform, and directly derive very easily some high value things that you can then work on. And so if we have that, we now know how to do the perfect healthy platform, right? We just have to put all those value opportunities down and then deliver them, and then we have all the value, right? It's just so easy. But if we now go in and just deliver every opportunity and work on every opportunity, especially at the same time, right? That's a bit of the old school thing. We just do in German, it's like Lastenheft. I don't know what English, if there's even an English translation. We just put all opportunities in a book in the beginning and then say the platform is done if we have all those opportunities. If we come back to the product management process, right, then this is the time for the second part. We need to do refinement, we need to do development, and we need to do iteration. And to do iteration, we actually have to deliver something, right? And that can't be the whole thing. So, like every good product, a platform is never done. That's basically the biggest difference between product and project management, or the easiest difference. Like in project management, you have a date, and then you hit that date, and then you have no job anymore, or another project. And in product management, you have a product until somebody kills it, but that date is not set yet. It's hopefully, who knows? We know Google, but different story. So to come back to that, right? Your platform is never done. So no matter how many value opportunities you have, you will always find other ones. And that means that you cannot deliver the perfect platform anyways, so don't try it in that sense. And there is no value whatsoever in a platform that nobody can use. So rather get users on your platform than get the perfect platform out, right? Another useful product management tool that can help you there is a typical MVPs, right? It's just iteration, it's building up on each other. MVP stands for minimum viable product. So in this case, just the plain donut, whoever wants that. And then, in the next MVP you learned, everybody loves chocolate, so let's put chocolate on that. And so you improve the product, with some value, but not all of the value yet. And then the question is, how do you find the next right iteration? Coming back to the process, exploration, really finding out, testing with customers, talking to customers, and then finding out if that value is there that you expect to be there, and if that value is the right one to work on. And so, a very important thing to take with you here is you can only prove value if people can really use that. And that means for your platform, if your platform is not out there, then it is waste. So start small, finish things, really important, finish things, especially in IT, that's a thing that we have to say more often, finish things, and then grow from there. Get stuff done, really important, get it done. So, and learn from it, because iteration, right? And then you have more metrics and more product signals that you can use to find out, is the value really coming home? Is there no dashboard click whatsoever, or are there too many dashboard clicks? So that's the part. Wrapping up. I don't know, what's the time? Perfect. So wrapping up, because it's very late and there's beer, I know, so let's just wrap it up. Number one, learn where you are. There's a ton of tools out there. There's, even some other workshops of very good consultant companies that really can help you identify where your platform currently is. Because as Kelsey said, if you do custom software, you also do platform engineering. And learn where you are and where you want to go. When is your platform good enough? And again, not perfect, but when is it good enough? Because it will never be perfect. Maybe. So the second part then is create a story for your platform and use that story to find the next best value that you can deliver to your customers. And then the third part, don't overthink it, just throw it out. We live in a very luxurious life in infrastructure. Well, not everybody of us. I know there's some companies, if they just throw things out and then it sucks, that's bad. But we can change things really fast. We can turn around, releases that are bad. We can just remove them again. So don't overthink it. Don't put always the perfect platform out and not onboard any developer until it's perfect and no developer complains, because when does that happen? And then learn from it. And that's, if you take anything from me today, then please be it, get your platform shit out. Cool. Any questions?
All right. Thank you. You were doing great on time, so thank you for that. Let's see if we can get some questions in, but I already have a first one. How do you measure user happiness without annoying them with regular feedback questionnaires? It's a good question, honestly.
Yeah, if you know the answer, you can be very rich with a startup, I think. I think the biggest issue in platform engineering with that is that, if you have a shop app or whatever, you have a ton of users. If you're platform engineering, you usually don't have a ton of users, right? That you can just circulate through. I think it's very important to have a good relationship to your customers, and if you're not a dick and you have a good relationship to your customer, they will always be happy to talk to you, right? And they will always be happy to complain or to just say, yeah, it's good. Because also that can be a feedback. If, your platform is really working well and delivering value to your customers, and you go to your internal teams and say, hey, it's this week again, so how do you like it? And they just say, yeah, it's good. That's also already some feedback you can use. So it comes back to the relationship that you have. And that's the good thing, because usually you're in an organization where you know your customers, which is something that Amazon doesn't have, and they really want to have that. And you can just go on Slack or on Teams and just say, hey, how do you like it?
Excellent. If anyone has more suggestions, by the way, you can also just post a comment. Very curious to learn more. How do you prioritize different customers on the same product that are possibly rivals?
Rivals?
Competitors.
Yeah.
Not friends.
Not friends.
Not besties.
Yeah. So if I'm honest, it's just who brings you more money, right? At the end, we just have to also put some organizational value in, and that's always money. It's a bit unromantic, I know. Who do you like more is another thing that you could do, which is wrong. But at the end, it's just, products are always two-sided. You always give a value to your customer, that's sure, but your customer always has to give a value back. It's the same thing that Kelsey said in the fireside chat with, even open source organizations and companies behind open source products, they need to get something for that, or they, can't pay people. And it's the same here. You need to get something for the products that you deliver back from them. Sometimes it's data that you can sell somewhere else. And sometimes it's just money. So look at internally who's more, who's giving you back, and then prioritize back on that. And that can also be internally, for example, who's easier to work with, who will give you nicer feedback. Because that's then the value that you get back, right? And if you have a team that's really critical and hard, and another team that is really nice to you and really talks often to you with feedback, and they are both on the same level when it comes to priority, go with the nice ones.
I mean, but the ones that are more critical maybe have more interesting feedback, no?
Yeah, but again, absolutely. But if it's hard to talk to them, in a sense of you don't reach them and they don't answer you and you just don't get anything from them.
If there's a lot of friction, okay, fine. I'll agree with you. Fine. All right. Are there any references for healthy platforms that you want to share? Some favorites that you want to name?
Healthy platforms? Yeah, I mean, Giant Swarm is doing quite well. No.
Surprise.
No, I think we already had a couple of really good examples of platforms that are healthy because they are working for organizations, and you can name whatever organization. Especially at this time, we are in a luxurious position that a lot of organizations have developed somewhat similar platforms, but in different ways. So we can learn a lot on how we create platforms. And it's working for them, or platform engineering wouldn't be that hype topic, right? So it's not just Giant Swarm, really, that's a joke. It's really a lot of really well-working platforms out there, and yeah.
I wanted to say thank you, but no, we have one more question. What is an IDP for you?
Yeah, that's
What's your definition?
It's an identity provider. It's such a bad naming again, right? Naming and caching, the two hardest things. In that sense, I usually take internal developer platform for it, behind it, and that's different than, for example, internal developer portal, which most people mean when they just say it's Backstage, right? So it's not just the typical clicky thing, the colorful clicky thing, but it's a set of different capabilities that are somewhat combined in a specific touch point. And a touch point can also be, for example, just a Confluence page where you have a set of links. Then that's already your platform. If that helps you achieve some specific goal, it's an IDP.
All right. On that, little nugget of wisdom, our time here is up. We'll be here for another day, whole day tomorrow. But now it's time for our little after party. Let's give it up for Dominique one more time. Yes.